So we've been talking about working with envy and the kind of the pitfalls um, of too little or too much. But what if somebody doesn't even know what their envy feels like?
Mm,
How can you start to get in touch with your envy if maybe it's an emotion that you've always been shamed for feeling
yeah.
or not allowed to feel or haven't, if you haven't been in a situation where you felt like you could, where maybe all of your you took care of all of your needs out of necessity but without considering your envy. So an example
hmm
might be that you needed glasses, but you didn't get to pick out a cool frame. You just had to pick out the cheapest frame, or the necessary frame that actually fit.
Right.
That would be really depressing.
All the cool ones don't come in your size. Yeah. I think that's, a good example, like um, with how to start working with envy. And kind of like picking like which, what's your favorite color? Like what things, what do you feel a movement towards? Um, what do you gravitate towards? I think that might be a a good kind of soft envy question
Mm-hmm.
to help start engaging with it. I also think about friends. I think it's normal in friendships to have envy, of each other in different ways. And so for a little while, I was working with my envy, trying to like acknowledge and express it. Like, when I had somebody that, maybe my friend was really good with, um, I don't know, maybe had a really good job or something, or and I, expressing that um, gives voice to it and acknowledges it. And I've had um, the situation where it opens up a return where like they would express like, oh, like I'm envious of this thing that you have, and it's like you might not, and that I think can help that contentment balance too, because you might not even realize that you have something someone else might envy, and that so I mean it's not always appropriate to do it that way, but acknowledging, I think that's a good kind of way to start, is just acknowledging at least internally, like starting to notice and acknowledge whether or not you say it. That's, you don't have to, but um, like vision boards, right? Those are great ways of
Mm-hmm.
working with soft envy and kind of engaging your envy. Have you had any other specific ways of inviting your envy in?
Well, it's never been a problem for me. I've
Right. Okay.
never been one to deny my envy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Problem has been much more of a realizing I want all the things. I can't physically do all the things, even though I'm going to try. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's been a process for me of working with my sadness of, okay, I can't do all the things. And my anger. What is the thing that's really important? What are the things that are most important to me? And and then working with my envy around that. As a
Mhm.
personal example, last year I went through a big process of realizing I'm almost 40. I don't have a conventional job. I am not the person I thought I would be in high school. And how does this fantasy that I had of myself relate to my current life? And is there anything in this fantasy that I actually want? Or was
Mhm.
it based on a vision that had no grounding in reality because I'd never experienced anything before. I'd never experienced any of it. And the truth is that I went through a few years of working in an office or working full time and working in a more conventional way. And I hated it and I vowed never to do that again. And since then, I've had a very unconventional work life
Hmm.
is, and my values are firmly rooted around my family, my close and my extended family, around nature and being outside and being on the land, and living in a more kind of a natural way, rather than putting all my focus on a career. Now, I'm not saying that I don't focus on it, obviously,
Yeah.
but because it took me almost a whole year to process this, because I had this old idea of who I should be by the time I was 40, and I was having to reconcile, well, I am not that person.
Yeah.
Who am I and what is my worth if I'm not this person that I thought I should be?
Hmm.
And so I had to go through, I think, a mourning of that
Yeah.
death, and then also like kind of a rebirth, and an acceptance. And through that process, part of that process is why I started doing this Let's Talk About Emotions series, because I want to learn more about other people's perspectives on emotions. And this is also something that other people need to see and they need to hear.
Hmm.
We talk honestly and openly about emotions. That's giving people permission to listen to their own emotions.
Yeah.
And so my envy is what brought me to this series, because I was feeling unfulfilled.
Hmm.
But when I listen to my exclusively to my envy, then I'm also unfulfilled because I do not have time for everything.
Right. Right. Yeah. It really speaks to uh, the balance, the integration of the emotions, right? How you have to check in with all of them to see, is sadness, am I letting go of what's not working anymore? Have I mourned what's no longer possible, or what has changed? And setting bound, like, you have to kind of do an inventory of all of them to really have envy work in a balanced and effective way, I think.
That's such a good point. Actually, the one of the resources on Carla's site is coming to mind, the daily emotional checklist, where you just kind of scan this list of emotions and you just give a little check depending on what day you're on. You're Monday, I feel this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the week, you can look at it and see, oh, I had, a flow of emotions this week, or I was really stuck on envy and depression this week. I wonder what's going on. So that could be another way of,
Or why did I never yeah, yeah, or why did I not never feel fear this week at all? Like, why, where was my fear? Because that's an important, to be able to notice changes. I'm thinking, I mean, I just kind of pulled it off the top of my head as an example, but if you can't notice changes, that's going to be a problem with envy as well.
oh, yeah, because you're always going to be stuck thinking about what you want rather than recognizing, oh, this is what I have, because that changes all the time. That's true. It's a really good point. It's just a really individual thing learning to listen to your emotions. That's what it is. You just as we learn in different ways, right? You learn to read and write, you learn in school in different ways. It's the same with learning to listen to your emotions. I mean, I happen to be a very visual person and I get kind of visual images, but that's not like true for everybody, right? I don't want to put this out there because I don't want people to think like, oh, there's something wrong with me because that's not how I listen to my emotions. I don't know how my emotions talk to me.
Right, right.
Right. It's so completely individual. And we
Yeah,
get it in different
yeah.
ways. I know somebody who takes a walk every day, and that's how they get kind of they come to emotional epiphanies. Just
Nice.
just moving and getting your blood flowing can help other things
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, a lot of people I think do need some sort of movement to help things flow.
Oh yeah. I mean, our bodies are meant to move. It's really good for us to just physically get some activity. It helps all aspects of it. Just like getting good sleep is so important for all aspects of us. If we don't get good sleep, then we're not able to process our emotions, and then
Mhm.
things get rough
Yeah.
and they feel more intense.
Yeah, yeah.
Any last thoughts on envy?
I don't think so.
Envy, how are you feeling? Did we cover enough of you for you to feel content with,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention was that envy is kind of like the turning point of stuckness. It's like where things get uncomfortable enough to where you're willing to consider doing something differently. And your envy is
Mm.
the thing that drives it. Oh, you don't want to go to work at 8 a.m. 5 days a week? Maybe we could try something else. Thank you, envy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, I think there may be certain situations where you're stuck, where it might be more about like anger or something. But otherwise, like, I think envy is pretty crucial to moving out of a stuck place. I mean, it might be required at all junctures of stuckness. Like if you don't have access to your envy, you'll stay stuck.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah, because
as
what other impetus would you for getting out of it, other than I don't know, maybe the suicidal urge that could get you moving.
yeah,
But there's still
yeah,
in that there's also envy,
right,
right? Because if you are no longer giving life to a piece of yourself, if you're cutting off that piece that's not working, then part of you wants to live, right? A big part of you. I'm I'm done. I'm going forward.
yeah, yeah.
Envy, a crucial emotion. Another one of those essential emotions.
They just keep ending up that way.
Yes, is there an emotion that's not essential?
Right. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think they're pretty important. Thanks for joining me, Sherry. I really appreciate your insights and your sharing today.
Thank you. Yeah, such a fun conversation. Thanks for inviting me here.
Yeah.